It is bench night and bench accessory work. I said in my last video, I'm going to be doing the same weight for 3 weeks in a row to let my body adapt to it because of my injury. And my bench press is weak. But that doesn't mean it's not trainable and it's not fixable. So the whole point of this is to get stronger and to get better and to work on what we need to improve on. Jen is in the gym tonight again. She's going to be training bench with me and all my accessory work. So this is her second time doing bench. So I'm going to kind of coach her through the bench press so you guys kind of get a first-hand glimpse of like benching, which I already took her through a lot of the cues last week. So I'm not going to have to like train her from scratch, but you can kind of see me adjusting her technique and form and cueing her up and stuff like that for those that are interested on more of the coaching side versus just more of the lifting side. So whenever we go to bench, we are not laying down relaxed stomach. We are breathing deep into our diaphragm, not your clavicles. You don't want to breathe into your collarbone. You want to breathe into your diaphragm right here. Push your belly out really hard and flex your abs. Also, real quick, whenever you're coming out of the rack, you don't want the bar here. Here's a tip. You want to roll the bar to the end of the J-cups. You want the rack height at a position that when you come out, you're not here, you don't lift the bar up and then bring it down in position. You want to get the bar as close to your starting position as you can, so when you're ready in position, you literally take the bar out and you're there. You're right there, you're already ready to go. Because if you have to come here, you're throwing your positioning off and your tightness. So you want to get the bar as close to the J-cups as you can, and then you want to get your body as close to position of the bar and your bar path as you can be without having the J-cups interfere. Once you get the bar out of the rack, whenever you're ready, Jen, when you get the bar out of the rack, you want to brace and push into your diaphragm. And then when you come down, as you can see, she's hitting her sternum. She's not going to her chest. She's not hitting mid-chest. Her arms are not flaring out to the side like this. She's bringing her arms down, right? If you have your arms straight and you bring it up like this, there's your bench press position. It lays across the sternum. If you're down on the ground, if you want to go push yourself up, you're going to push up like this. You're not going to push up like this. You're not going to be up here. Anyone tries to get up off the ground like this, they're going to have a hard time getting up off the ground. So your position is here, not out here. So whenever she's benching, she's bringing it from here, and the elbow just comes straight down, just like if you were to do this right here. Boom, straight up. So that's the position that you want your shoulder and elbow to be. So when you bring it out of the rack, you want to be as close as you can to your starting position. Breathe into your diaphragm flex, and then you want to be able to bring the elbows down to the sides, touching the sternum. And then you just want to press straight back up. And your arm's going to go into a natural position from here to there like punching. It's a natural position. And that's where you want to be. Yes, I'm starting extremely light. Like going from the bar to 10, I'm not in a hurry to go heavy on this. It's been a long time since I've actually bench pressed, and I gotta tell you, there's something very euphoric about getting to lay underneath a bar again, because it's been many years since I've done this because of the way my pec has felt after the injury. If you watch when I come out of this bar, out of this rack, the bar moves very sub-maximal. What did you do last week? 65. Nope, we gotta take this down then.
Take it down?
Yep, put it to, because the bar's 45, that would have been 65 right there. So I put a 2.5. We're gonna warm you up, build you into it. So another thing on the bench, you got to keep in mind whenever you come down to your chest, you're not relaxing. Everything's tight. You want to pause on the chest. You're not letting that bar sink into your stomach. You're holding that bar in position and everything is staying super, super, super tight. Everything's loaded and ready to go. So when it's time to press, you can forcefully push it off your chest. You never relax at the bottom. Even when she's paused on the bottom right here, she's not relaxing anything. Everything is still incredibly tight and ready to fire. Good, good, good.
Am I going past 65 today?
Do you remember how difficult 65 was last week?
I remember wanting to do more and you said no.
Yeah, because we don't want to fail a rep. Like the whole thing is you don't want to fail a rep. You want to be able to successfully complete every single rep that you're doing. You don't want to train your body to fail. You don't want to get your body used. There's a certain point you have to learn how to grind through a rep and fight through that rep, right? But that's not where we're at in our training. Right now where we're at is we want to complete every single rep. We don't want to fail or miss a single rep. So we want to have room to grow, because if you start at 65 and let's say your max is 105, and let's say we build you up to like 85, 90 pounds, and then you're benching 85, 95, and it's very difficult for you to get that for 5. Well, when we go to increase, where are you increasing to? How many times can you jump up before you hit a wall? So if you start, okay, so we're going to use percentages. So we'll say 100% for 100 pounds. If you start, let's say 100 pounds is your 1 rep max. That's the maximum you could do for 1 rep. If you start at 90% of your 1 rep max, how much improvement are you going to be able to make from 90 to 100%? That's 10%. How much improvement if you're always close to full throttle? Always being close to full throttle, you're not going to make a big improvement. Everything's going to be way harder to increase a little bit of load. But if we start off at 60%, 65%, we build our reps up. As we're building our reps up, we're building our condition up, and we're also building up all of our strength, our ligaments, tendons, our central nervous system. But overall, we're just getting stronger. And then you get good with 65%, then you move to 75%, then you move to 85%. And then by the time you get to 90%, 90% is no longer your 90%. 90%, it's gone down. Now it's like maybe 84, 85, 86%. So you've gotten stronger. So your 100% is no longer 100. It's your 100% is now higher. So what used to be 100% is no longer 100%. But it gives you room to build into those numbers. It gives you room to grow into those numbers and get better and stronger. It's always easier to get stronger at more reps than it is to get stronger with more weight. So if you're trying to get 1 more rep with 100%, it's way more difficult than trying to get 5 more reps with 65%. But that 65%, 5 more reps, it's still building your 1 rep max. You're taking the longer way around. It's a slower peak, but it's more improvement. So keep in mind too, you don't put weight on the bar to get stronger. You put weight on the bar because you got stronger. You're not going to start off dumbbell pressing 100 pounds because you want to be strong. You have to build the strength up to the 100 pounders. You can do them because you got strong. You didn't get strong because you used them. You can use them because you got strong. So we build into the program. We don't start too close, like Icarus. You fly too close to the sun with wings made of wax, you're going to melt and you're going to fall. Okay. So we always want room to grow. Plus, it's extremely demoralizing whenever you're building and then you hit a hard wall. Yeah. It's incredibly demoralizing when you hit a hard wall.
Especially when you think, well, that wasn't much. relax, let me go.
Yeah. And we don't really know where your 1 rep max is,
Yeah.
but it doesn't honestly matter because, yeah, 5. It doesn't honestly matter because we're gonna find it over time. We're gonna build into it. First time I ever pulled 500 on the deadlift, I never deadlifted over 400 pounds. First time I pulled 600 on the deadlifts, I never deadlifted over 500 pounds. Never deadlifted over 500 pounds, not one time, but I pulled 600 for the first time, never deadlifting over 500. Get tight, deep breath. Good. Yeah, get those ribs up. Good. Remember, keep those abs tight and get those ribs up. If you let those ribs come down, you're going to get a bigger range of motion, which is going to make your bench press go down. Also, too, when you guys grab the bar, make sure that you're grabbing the bar in the exact same position. If you just come up and grab the bar nilly-willy and you don't pay attention to where you're grabbing the bar, your hand positioning is always going to be different and the bench is always going to feel different. So the more consistent you can get with your hand placement on the bar, the better it's going to be. And a 10. And how long do you need to rest between sets? Well, that's individual, and that completely depends on how much time you need to recover. The heavier you lift, the harder you're breathing, the longer you need to wait till your breathing calms down. If you're still huffing and puffing and you try to go again, you're not going to be at your optimal levels of strength. You got to wait for your breathing to calm down. You got to wait for your oxygen levels to come back up.
Crazy fatigue that way. Like
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, powerlifting isn't about the sprint. And the lift it is because it's one all-out, go. But the training isn't about a sprint. It's about building into your lifts. And everybody has a different principle and philosophy and how they feel about it and where they stand. So it just depends on which one works for you and which one best fits your mindset. You might be like, oh, well, I'm not going to listen to you. Your bench is shit, bro. Well, now it is, and it used to be. Let's go 5 and 2.5.
I do think out of all three, bench is my favorite. So
Everybody loves bench.
really?
Everybody loves bench. I've never met a person that hated bench press.
Deadlift is the one I was the most looking forward to, but
Yeah.
man, this is
Deadlift is my all-time favorite. Like, that is like the one movement that I just feel like is a true display of power. Picking something up off the ground. It doesn't get more raw than that. Just pick it up off the fucking ground,
5.
Yeah.
Felt like I was stair-stepping the
Yep.
bar.
You were wiggly. You got to get your bracing tighter. You got to get your shoulders positioned on the bench better. You got to get your feet grounded harder, and you got to leg drive. You weren't driving with your legs. So if you're wiggly wobbly on the bench, it's because your legs aren't in the proper position, and leg positioning doesn't matter because if your lower body's relaxed, it allows for wiggle on the hips. It just becomes unstable. So you get your feet behind you, you drive your feet down and out, driving your knees forward and down, and that allows you to push yourself on the bench like this, pinning yourself down, which now you're solid. If you're relaxed here, you can get wiggle. But basically imagine yourself picking your body up like this with your legs is what you're trying to do. Like, imagine replicating this position right here with your legs, but you're not up off the bench. You're down here, but you're driving the same way, and then you're using the weight of the bar to pin you down so you don't slide forward, and that's going to make your whole entire body rigid on the bench, and it's going to take away a lot of that wiggle. Breathing heavier and also tucking your shoulders. Like I told you, imagine rotating your shoulders back and tucking them into your back pockets. You have to lock your shoulders in place too. If your shoulder blades are not locked in place, you can also get out of positioning real easy. It's like then you can say, do another 5 and 2.5. You want to do this one for a single. Like, and then you can say, it's not that complicated. It's just lay on your back and push the bar away from your chest. Yeah, it's that simple, really, honestly. It comes down to the simplicity of,
It takes more like function than that.
right, the simplicity of lay down and push it away from your chest is the most simplex thing you can do. But if you want to be optimal and you want to train with the most amount of performance and output, all these little bitty nuances matter. It may not seem like it matters at this level, but fast forward 2-3 years from now, these little things make dramatic differences, and a lot of lifters, they train like, it's simple, I don't have to do all that silly shit. Good. And the mindset is, I'm so new to this, I could pretty much do anything and make results. So I don't have to do that. I'm making great results as it is. My weight's going up every week. I'm getting more reps. I'm getting more weight. I'm getting stronger. So it's like, why do I need to do all this silly, stupid shit whenever I'm making progress? And then fast forward 2-3 years, and they plateau and they hit a hard wall, and all the newbie gains are gone, and they're not progressing no more. They're like, well, why I'm not? And then it's like, you're not bracing. You're not pushing out. You're not flexing. You're not tucking. You're not flaring. You're not elbow driving. You're,
Huge difference when I'm lacking one of those things.
right, and then the thing is, it's like, if you learn these things from the very beginning, by the time you get to that level, 2-3 years down the road, you don't have to train yourself. It's like breathing. It's secondhand nature. Like it's just something that you do, and now that's not an issue. So now it's like, why am I not getting stronger? Am I doing too much? Am I not doing enough? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I eating enough food? You know, like, was I stressed out this week? Like, have I been letting outside interferences come into my life and affect my training? Or just simply, like, have I not been putting in enough effort? Or have I been mistaking a lot of work with hard work? Because there's a big difference between a lot of work and hard work. There is a big difference. A lot of people do a lot of work thinking it's hard work, and it's like, that's not hard work. You did a lot of nothing.
Yeah. you did a whole bunch of stuff that's not going to help you.
Right, you did a whole lot, but you did a whole lot of nothing. Like, nothing you did was bringing you closer to your goal. And if you don't have a coach, then it's up to you to have to identify, like, what was it that I was doing incorrectly? Like, was this movement not working? Was this movement not working? Was this not carrying over? Was I not doing enough reps, sets, intensity? Was I not doing enough volume? Was my training frequency too close? Is it too far apart? Like, is my calories not up? Is my hydration off? Is my sodium intake off? There's so many things that come into play when you get to a point where you do start sticking. And you don't want it to be because you weren't driving with your legs properly, or your elbows weren't tucked properly, or you weren't breathing correctly. Those are things when you're taught in the beginning, you don't have to learn whenever you're already, because it's so much difficult trying to break bad habits than learn good habits from the beginning. The chin tuck. You get someone who's lifting on the deadlift for like a year or two, and they're used to having their head up. It is so difficult getting them to learn to keep their chin down and get their back tight. Once they learn to keep their chin down and they can flex and get their back tight without doing this, it changes everything. But to get them to understand that after they've been lifting for so long, it's so difficult. And then getting a lifter who's already been trained, it's like they don't want to be coached because they feel like if you say something that they don't agree with or they don't feel work for them, they're not willing to try it. Because like, well, I've already done something similar to that.
It takes such offense.
Well, it's like I've had people that I've coached and they're like, well, I've tried something similar to that and it didn't work. It's like, okay, but you didn't try this though. And did you follow this to the T? Did you do everything that you were supposed to do outside of the gym, including inside the gym? And how long did you do it before you actually gave it a legitimate estimate of, is this working or not? And a lot of times it was like for 2 weeks and they just felt like it wasn't going to work for them. I had a guy that did a ton of accessories for bench. Tons of accessory for bench. That's like, you're doing too much. You don't need to do it. Let's dial this back and be very specific of what we're trying to do. And let's really bring everything back to just some basic lifts. And let's really focus on the technique. He did it for 2 weeks and he was just like, nah, I don't think this is going to work for me. It's like, okay, but have you ever done this before? He goes, no, I've never done it before, but I know it's not going to work. It's like, okay, but you've been stuck at the same bench for 2 years. You haven't even gone up by 5 pounds in 2 years, and you're not willing to try something you've never done before, to have something you've never got before. So, yeah, so it's like some people just aren't coachable, and it's just kind of like, okay, like that's great. Yeah, so it's like, that's great that what you've been doing, you like doing it, so keep doing it, but don't sit here and bang your head against the wall that you're not making progress. All right, this is my top set right here. This is my last week doing 145, then I'm going up next week. Go, yep, yeah, it goes quick. Yeah, felt pretty good. So next week I will go up in weight. Let me write this down real quick. Yes, this is going to be your top set. Yeah. Get your legs locked into position and drive your legs. Drive your shoulders into the pad by using your feet to drive you into that pad. Pin yourself down under the weight of that bar. Start using that bar to push yourself and get in nice and tight. Get your breath before you even unrack it. Expand your diaphragm, push out and flex, and then unrack it. From there, you get exhale, take another deep breath, get your diaphragm tight, and then start your rep. Come on, Weeble Wobble, what happened?
I don't know. Okay, reset.
Good. So you're drifting a little bit. So it takes time. I'm not criticizing, but you're drifting. Sometimes you hit here. Sometimes you hit here. Sometimes you hit. So you're drifting on each rep. You're not coming down in contact the exact same position every time you do a rep. You're drifting. Sometimes you get your arms out in this position. Sometimes you're more tucked up like this. So you're drifting, and like that little 1.5, 2 inch drift can be the difference of getting out of your groove and being in your groove. And what I mean by groove is you have, imagine a track, right? Like your elbows on a track, right? If it ever comes off a track, you lose the use of your elbow, right? So imagine like you have a track and you have to follow that track. And if you get off in the least bit, you're going to derail like a train. So you're not going to be able to have that same driving force and factor. So whenever you do this, like you need to pay attention. And as odd as it sounds, don't watch the bar. Don't ever look at the bar. Look at the ceiling. Don't ever look at the bar. If you watch the bar, right, a lot of guys, they get too like over, I guess, analytic when they're watching that bar and when it comes into contact with that chest. You shouldn't, like the squat. You don't have to watch the bar in the squat. You're just doing it. When you're deadlifting, you're just doing it. You're feeling your body. You're feeling the movement. You're feeling where everything's positioned. If you're looking, your eyes might be telling you that you're feeling it differently than what it looks. It feels different than what it looks. It looks different than what it feels. Oh, I need to bring my elbows out more. I need to tuck my elbows up more. So it can throw off your groove. So instead, look dead at the ceiling when you come out of the rack and don't look at the bar. Just look straight and feel your body. Oh, that felt perfect. Oh, that didn't feel right. And you'll start to learn, like, no, this position here, naturally without having to look at yourself and everything. So try not to actually look at the bar whenever you're lifting. And I know it kind of seems like, whoa, what? But trust me, it makes sense whenever you're doing it. But other than that, it was a good benching session. Now, obviously, benching takes a lot less time than squatting and deadlifting. So that's it for the bench work right there. Very simple. I know it's like, well, this is why you're only benching 145 pounds, you weak bitch. No, I'm only benching 145 pounds because that's what I want to start benching with right now. I could do more, but then again, I could also get hurt really easy because of the way that my pec is. Not making excuses. It's just the reality of my situation. So now we're going to move on. And plus, you don't need as much benching as you actually think you do. Some people need more, some people need less, but really ultimately, as long as you're making progress, you're being optimal. So now we're going to move on to accessory work. I got a lot of accessory work to do, conditioning and everything else. That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments, please leave a comment, ask your questions, and I might get back to you if I feel like you are nice enough to reply.